Well, hello, I'm Rick and Judo. I'm here with Liam Keane for the day, Mr. Wolves reporter. Liam, Brighton 3, Wolves 3. Feels like a defeat, to be honest. Look, I mean, where'd you start? I mean, that second half was absolutely unforgivable.
Big time, and for an experienced player like Jan Martino, the one player in this squad who's got the most experience, played in competitions across the world, played international football, for him to give away a penalty like that in 11 seconds in the second half is criminal.
Yeah.
For a player of his quality, let alone experience, to do that is criminal. And it just set the tone, didn't it, for the second half straight away. Brighton were all over Wolves. Midfield, they were overrun.
Yeah.
They were getting overlaps on either wing, absolutely all over them. Wolves got a little bit of respite for maybe 5 to 10 minutes before the third goal came, and then the third goal eventually came. And to be honest with you, Brighton could have won it in that second half.
They just invited pressure,
Yeah.
and I put a tweet out at half time saying I hope they continue to go for this, because let's be honest, Brighton this game was all over basically at half time. Wolves were all over them, and I felt like they could score 4, 5 or 6 here. They didn't know what to do. They were running riot, and then, like you say, that start to the second half, it's killed them. They've gone back into the shell, and then we saw it against Manchester United and Brighton, who they've had one home win in 2020. I mean, they should have probably won that today in the second half. They were dominant, and then you go even more into your shell when you bring Max Kilman on, inviting the pressure, and it was just inevitable what was going to happen.
Well, talking about overlaps for Brighton, in the first half, Adama Traore had Dan Burn on toast.
Yeah,
he was
all over the shot. Yeah.
Well, Dan Burn was having an absolute shock.
Yeah.
And he didn't get much better in the second half, to be fair. Hence why he was hauled off. But Wolves, they capitalised. The problem they've had this season, in many respects, is not taking chances, not scoring goals. They've capitalised on their chances. They've scored goals in different ways. Scored 3 relatively nice goals, the own goal being, and then just throwing away in the second half. And as you say, with the substitution, Kilman coming on, for me, they were overrun in the midfield from this first 11 seconds of that second half. Straight away, they were overrun.
Yeah.
They brought Lallana, Ronnie started picking the ball up. Otasowie came on with 5 minutes to go. He should have been on about 25, 30 minutes to go, to be honest. I thought he looked good when he came on as well, and then he has that opportunity.
Yeah, we'll come on to that in a minute, because like you said, it started poorly because it was defensive frailties. I mean, I don't think since I think it was the 7th game of the season, Wolves kept the last clean sheet, so to concede 3, but then they did come back and they scored some great goals. I mean, we talk about a striker they need in January. It could be Romain Staes, because he's just absolutely banging them in at the moment. 3 goals this season, and he looks. If there's one good thing to come out of this in the recent weeks, he looks absolutely fantastic.
Yes, solid at the back. His positional awareness has improved, I think, quite a lot. For me, Size at times had a mistake in him, didn't he?
He had a rick and a half. Yeah.
He had a yellow card in him as well, if you're betting on
He
it.
did.
But at the moment, he looks in a good place. He looks comfortable at centre half, which I personally never really saw him as a centre half up until this season. So he's a shining light coming out of it. As I said, I thought Adama Traore had a good game overall, particularly first half.
Yeah.
But then there's sort of performances sprinkled in there, like Neto wasn't very effective today for a player who's clearly one of Wolves' best players. Was not very effective today.
Nori struggled. Silva didn't hold the ball up. Vitinha wasn't the same as what he was
anonymous, really.
Yeah.
For me, Silva looked isolated, as you say, didn't hold the ball up. And Nori again, a player who you can tell really wants to get forward. Almost feels to me like he's holding himself back a little bit, and he was disappointing, really. And Semedo again defensively, I thought he was shaky defensively again. I think every time there's a ball over his head or in behind him, he looks like he's on the back foot straight away. And Kilman came on, did okay, but I mean, I could run through all these different players and how poor some of them were. But what is Motor's point is the difference between the two halves.
Sure.
That is the biggest thing for me. When Wolves have played so well first half, looked really good going forward against a Brighton team that, as you said, a poor form, don't look like scoring goals. Second half, they look like scoring about 15 goals at that rate. I mean, they were all over Wolves completely.
And yet, the very, very last kick of the game, Traore goes by his man. I mean, this was back to the Traore that we know and love in periods today, and puts the most incredible cross for Owen Otasowie, who only has to hit the target for them to go absolutely crazy. And look, he's missed it. He's absolutely devastated. It's a simple chance, and I know he's just come on the pitch. I know he's a young lad, but you've got to put those kind of chances away. And it was the longest walk. I mean, he stayed in the net for I think about 2 or 3 minutes before he walked off. He'll be absolutely gutted. He'll be running that through his mind all night, and you feel for the lad. but at the same time, those are the chances you've got to take, and whether you're subs or you're not subs or you're starting, and whether you're experienced and you've had 100 caps for your country or 0, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Simple as that. You have to score the opportunity. Caveat that by saying he is, of course, 19 years old. He's only just starting to play his first games. Speaking to Nuno, then he wants him now to react from that and come back from it. Because as you said, he sat in the net 2 or 3 minutes after the game. He looked devastated. But you'd have scored that, if I'm honest with you.
I'd have hit the crossbar.
It was what, 6 yards?
Yeah.
The Traore cross was right on a plate for him. He's a big lad as well, so it wasn't much of a leap for him. Right in almost centre of the goal. The whole goal to aim at. Sanchez wouldn't have got near it had he got it on target. He has to score, simple as that. But in all fairness, had they scored it, Wolves wouldn't have deserved it.
No, they wouldn't.
As that.
And look, Lee, Wolves have got injuries. We know they've got injuries. Prudence has missed the game today with a knock. He would have been an absolute nailed-on starter. I think he would have run riot today, to be honest. So that's a big miss. You've got no Dendoncker, you've got no Bolly. So you are missing players. You're missing first-team players. Of course, you've got no Jimenez either. The necessity to sign a striker now, I think, is essential. Look, they've got a bit of a break now. Friday night, they've got the FA Cup. We'd love them to have a win in the Cup, but the next home game is against Everton. How can you change it? Because at the same time, even though they've got injuries, you look at that 11 that was out there today, or the 12 that came on, or the 13, they've still got to see that game out, don't they? And they're going to be looking. They don't want to be looking over the shoulders this season, do they? They want to be going forward. But at this stage, and the way that they're playing at the moment, you can't see anything but at best a mid-table finish.
I'll be very interested to see on Friday what team Nuno puts out, because you've seen in the Carabao Cup he put a strong team out, lost. He clearly had an eye on the cup competitions this season as somewhere to put some more focus on compared to last season. Obviously the Aston Villa game springs to mind. So I'm very interested to see what team he puts out. But I would suspect that, bearing in mind the form at the moment, there will be several changes, and with a focus on the league, because Everton have had a 1 or 2 iffy results here and there, but they're a strong outfit, a very good goal scoring team, and Wolves have got to be better, not only going forward but defensively as well.
But you make changes, Liam, and God forbid they go out. I mean, some of the fans won't accept that.
No,
they won't accept that.
True.
They'll say, well, we're hopefully not going to go down. They want a strong cup run, so we could go 1 or 2 ways. It could go right. You guys go out again. I'm going to try and win a competition here when it's not going to look like they're going to qualify for European football through the league, at least if they're playing like that. Or just say, right, okay, we're going to completely change it. But then you run a risk, and you know what fans are like. But at the same time, when you've got someone like Fosun backing you, then that's fine. But Twitter's not an exciting place to be on this morning or this moment in time, is it?
Well, winning games breeds winning games, isn't it? You get yourself into a winning run, a winning mentality.
Breeds confidence, doesn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. I think they should go into Friday's game with the team selection and the idea of wanting to win the game. I suspect Nuno will make several changes, but if it was for my money, I would play a strong team. They've got a decent amount of time again between the games, with it being Friday night, so it's important to get back to winning ways, regardless of competition. And this season, I think Wolves are too strong to be looking behind them. But I think most fans are probably looking at it being a mid-table finish, which means the cups offer some sort of excitement this season, don't they? They offer somewhere for Wolves to build some success, and I think that's important.
Well, I'm excited for the drive home because I'm absolutely freezing, so I need to get a coffee and warm up. Brighton 3, Wolves 3. For all the post-match reaction, make sure you log on to expressandstar.com.